Welcome to ProjectME, the podcast. I'm your host, Tiffany Carter, the founder of ProjectME, multimillionaire entrepreneur, former TV newscaster, money-making expert, female empowerment speaker, and self-proclaimed office supply addict. My mission is to take the mystery out of making big money. Every week on ProjectME, the podcast, I'll share success tips, strategies, and stories from other entrepreneurs, experts, and millionaires, showing you exactly how you can achieve your most exceptional life. Now let's get to it. Exciting announcement for all of my listeners. I've officially opened my exclusive group, the ProjectME Passive Income Posse, to the public. This group is by application only, so we can keep the group high vibe and spend our time, energy, and expertise only helping those of you who truly want massive success and impact. You get live weekly trainings from me, special guest coaches, and direct access to me and my business partner for all of your questions. To learn more and apply, go to projectmewithtiffany.com, click on Work With Me, and select ProjectME Posse. And of course, any questions, feel free to DM me at ProjectMeWithTiffany. Welcome to ProjectME with Tiffany Carter, the podcast and posse. I'm your host, Tiffany, and today I'm going to make sure, along with a special guest I brought on, that you don't screw yourself like I did in my first 5 years of business. It's not going to be necessarily the sexiest conversation you've heard, but I can tell you right now, this is going to save you thousands and thousands of dollars. It's one of those things in business that you kind of blow off and then you pay a price for it and you're like, oh God, I should have done this earlier, but I didn't want to spend the money because I was being cheap and I really wanted that Prada bag. And then you've caused a whole circle of problems. My job is to always tell you and teach you what I wish someone taught me so that you guys can have the success that you want much easier, much faster, and much smoother. That's how I pay it forward. So I have brought on a fantastic entrepreneur specialty business lawyer and trademark specialist, Andrea Sager, and she is going to tell it like it is, the questions that you want to know about copywriting, trademarking, how should I set up my business? What should I use for, to get people to pay me? Do I need a contract for one-on-one coaching? Things to watch out for. We're going to nail it down for you today. And then on top of it, she has something special to offer for you guys that's going to help you go deeper into making sure that you don't screw yourself. What's up, girl? Thank you for coming on your birthday weekend.
Hey, I am so happy to be here. There's nothing that I would rather be doing. Trust me.
I think that's a lie. Maybe like a massage would be more enjoyable than talking to me.
Listen, I love education. I love educating entrepreneurs. So honestly, this is what I love doing. And I'm glad to be doing it to kick off my weekend.
Really? Oh my God. Well, that feels really good. And I can tell it's sincere. I get it. I feel the same way. And this is why I have you on the show, because you're not a traditional lawyer in the sense where you're going to tell people, you need to have this. And now it's $70,000 and you've only made $5,000 in your business so far, because the reality is, that no one's going to do it. Yep. So let's get right into it. With your experience and all these entrepreneurs and influencers that come to you, many of them are coming to you after they've paid a price, right? There's drama. Yeah. They've received a cease and desist notice, right? So what is the number one thing that they're coming with you like, Andrea, help?
Yeah. So there's two big issues that entrepreneurs come to me with. And one of them is for copyright infringement and the other is for trademark infringement. So for copyright infringement, photos. If you did not take the photo or if you did not get a proper license to use the photo, don't use it. Don't post it on Instagram. Don't post it on your website. Do not use photos that you either did not take yourself or you don't have a proper license. So that being said, you also have to be aware of those free stock photo sites, because even though they say they're free, you don't know who uploaded that photo. And it could be somebody that doesn't actually have the rights to upload it and give it away for free. So you have to be very, very careful when even downloading stock photos. Best bet, get your own photos taken, hire your own photographer. And that being said, you still have to pay attention to the license from the photographer. And this blows so many minds of entrepreneurs, because they think, oh, I've paid this photographer specifically for these photos, so I own the photos. That's not the case. Whoever takes the photos owns the copyright to that photo. That means your photographer owns the photos and they can do whatever they want with them. The only thing you're paying them for is an actual license, which is just permission to use those photos. So some photographers will say, oh, you know what, free and clear license, no big deal, use it for whatever you want. Some photographers may say, hey, you can use this, but you always have to give me credit. They may say, okay, you can use this for 2 years. After 2 years, if you want to continue using it, then you have to pay me again. And for photographers listening, I suggest that, because that's how you get your passive income. I was talking to a couple of photographers during COVID, all this pandemic stuff. That's how they were getting income, is licensing their photos. So copyrights, number one issue for entrepreneurs is using photos that don't belong to them. And other things that are protected with the copyright, so copyrights equal your content, which is your creative works. So your blog posts, your photos, your videos, your long form Instagram captions, this content in this podcast. Tiffany, no, even though I'm speaking, you own this podcast. So you own the content that I'm saying right here, and you can do whatever you want with it. So your podcast content, your course content, all of the content that you are creating, all of it is protected with a copyright as long as it's unique and original. So if you're copying somebody else, then you're committing copyright infringement. And I mean, that's illegal as it is. So don't copy somebody else's content. That is issue number one for entrepreneurs.
Wow. Before you go to issue number 2, question for you. So there are, I know you guys are panicking right now, like, oh my God, I took that stock photo of, that girl looking peacefully at the beach that everyone uses. And now I'm going to get sued. So number one, if they've already, and obviously I know you're not giving like blanket legal advice here, so you guys have to remember that. And I'm very well versed in law speak, so I know to say that. So she is giving, she's giving guidance, but this is not official legal advice, because it can depend on the state that you're in, the county, the country, etc. So if you already have images on your Instagram, on your blog that you pulled off, like Google free images or Upsplash, one of those free image sites, does this mean they need to like immediately go and delete everything?
I would.
Oh my God, I did not expect you to say that. What?
So honestly, okay, so let me tell you the worst case scenario, and then you can make your own decisions. So what's happening right now is a lot of photographers, and sometimes it's a scam too, and not really a scam, but essentially a scam. So what's happening is photographers will go to, and the scammy photographers, they'll go to creativecommons.com, which is where creators can upload their videos, photos, and they can be, sent to all of these different free stock photo sites. But when the photographer or the creator uploads the work, they can dictate any license they want. So for one of their photos, they can say, oh, free and clear license, no big deal. The next photo, they can say, okay, you can use this only on your website. Only 2,000 people can see it. Or they can say, you have to always give me credit, or you have to do this little thing or that little thing. They can add anything they want. So even if you think it's a free and clear license, it may not be. And because it's not a free and clear license, or you're not abiding by all the little bitty terms, technically that's still copyright infringement, and technically they can still sue you. So it's not even just, in good faith photographers. There are some scammy photographers out there that have essentially made this their business model, is, adding these little stipulations to photos and then going after those that aren't abiding by them and asking for a settlement payment. And it's not even like you're going to go bankrupt, but if they're asking for, I've seen it anywhere from like $400 to $2,000 for one photo. Do you seriously have that money to pay for every single photo that you're using? No, or else you would have already hired your own photographer. So in my opinion, I think you should remove the photos that you're not sure about, because it is so easy today to run those photos, the originals, through software to figure out exactly where those photos are online. And it's so easy for the photographers to find out exactly who's infringing on their copyright. And that's how they easily find out who's infringing. And they just send out these cease and desist letters left and right, figure out, okay, let's get these quick payments from these other people and figure out, okay, who do we spend more time on and who has money that we think is actually worth pursuing.
What about sites that you pay for? Because my other company, we do, digital marketing for, big corporations, right? So they'll provide us with like the paid accounts, like Shutterstock, Shutterfly, to use stock images. And a lot of these stock images, you'll see them in, national magazines, but you're paying for them. Is that's a little different, I would assume.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you definitely always want to read all the stock photo websites. You always want to read the fine print. I know, super unsexy, super annoying, but that can literally save you thousands of dollars. You have to know exactly what type of license you're purchasing. So just always keep in mind, you have to check the fine print, whether it's a free stock photo site or a paid stock photo site, because the free stock photo sites, they may say, hey, look, even if we're giving you these photos for free, if it happens that it's not actually properly a free license, we're not going to cover you. So you're still on the hook. But maybe they do say, hey, if it turns out that it's not actually a free license, then you can come to us and we'll take care of it. So you just have to read that fine print to figure out where are you covered, where are you not covered.
And the safest bet, as was said, right, is take your own photos. That doesn't mean you have to spend thousands on a photographer. There's lots of, as long as you have like a good iPhone, right? Or, it doesn't have to be an iPhone, but I'm an Apple person. They should pay me for that. But get really creative with taking your own photos, or you guys know what I do. If you look at my account, whether it's on LinkedIn, it's on Instagram, I have a new, I shouldn't even talk about it, but I have a new thing coming to my website. And I have a graphic designer like on staff that we create my unique infographics and text-based graphics. So you don't have to have a graphic designer. You can do it in Canva, but those are yours then, right? Because you're creating it. As long as you are not, if you're using like a quote that Brene Brown said, you better than, this is my next question. If you're going to use a quote like that Brene Brown said, but you've actually designed that quote graphic in Canva, as long as you're saying like, this is a Brene Brown said this, aren't you safe? Like that's freedom of speech, right?
Typically, yes. So I don't know if you heard about the whole Jay Shetty thing a couple of years ago or last year.
I know Jay Shetty got shit for quote unquote copying people's stuff, but I don't know how true that was. I don't know.
So what he was doing was taking all these quotes from people and obviously repurposing them in his own, like on his own graphics, and just saying it was by Jay Shetty. So basically plagiarism, which was borderline copyright infringement. So definitely if it's a short quote, give credit, or else that could be plagiarism. However, if it's a short quote, it's probably not protected with a copyright. So you're free to use that quote. However, the Copyright Office does not say, okay, this is what exactly is a short quote. This is what exactly is covered by a copyright. So that's where it gets tricky. So short quotes, the Copyright Office says 100% not covered with copyright protection. However, nobody really knows where that border falls on, okay, this is short, this is not short. So when I say long form Instagram captions, I mean long form Instagram captions, not the, oh, having a great day today, couple emojis, not covered with the copyright. So if it's a short quote, always give credit or else it could be plagiarism. Not saying you're going to get sued over it, but you want to avoid the shit that Jay Shetty got, basically. Now, if you notice, Jay Shetty had a very defining moment where he went from all of his quotes being by Jay Shetty to now they're all by whoever he got them from. So that was a big shift in his model because everybody was giving him shit about that. And definitely don't want you to have to go through that because not fun.
Well, and it's not necessary.
Right.
Like what I teach you guys, like, don't be basic. It doesn't work. Be yourself. And you don't need, it's laziness. You don't need a if you love a quote, right? Like, well, if you love the quote, you should love the person who said it. So then attribute it, right? Like, I don't mind at all when people screen grab or take any of my original comments or content or comments, and then they put them as their cover image on your social media post. As long as you tag me and credit me, that's why I do original content. I want you to fucking share it. Yeah. Right? That's why I teach you guys to do shareable original content. I want you to share. I want you to use it in your Instagram feed, but don't cut off my name on the bottom and don't not tag me, right?
Exactly. Yes. And that being said, so obviously you want your stuff to be shared. There are some people that don't want their stuff to be shared. So if you do find this stock photo or you find a photo from somebody that you like on Instagram and you want to repost it, even though you give them credit, it's still copyright infringement. You have to have permission from that person to post the photo.
How do you get permission? Do we have to have a full legal document exchange?
You can literally DM them on Instagram and say, hey, I love your photo. I would love to post this on my own Instagram. And if they say, yeah, go ahead, then there's your permission. That's all you need.
Wow. So here's another question for you. I purposely created for my audience because the content monster's real. This is also why even people like Jay Shetty, right, who has people working for him, obviously, pulled other content from people and didn't maybe, allegedly. There I go again. Allegedly, copied it. The content monster is real. We all need, great content. I created done for you 90 social media graphics that are already pre-sized in Tiffany's sayings, right? And then some of the sayings are like standard ones, right? Like, one day you won't need to read these quotes anymore, right? Like no one said that. Those are just words in the English language. Yeah. So even though that's a free download, are you saying that in order to be extra safe and make it extra clear to people that you can use these free and clear, right? I need to state that in the freebie. Like, I think I say something like that. You're free to use these as you please. You don't have to credit me, but maybe I need to go even further than that.
Yeah, you know what? And that's totally your personal option. If you're somebody that doesn't care, you just want, you just want to do good and you just want your stuff to be shared, that is perfectly fine. But on the other hand, on the other end of the spectrum, there's people out there that their whole livelihood is from those photos they're creating. So to have somebody share it like that and not either get credit or not to have that proper license, and that can be detrimental. So think about the paparazzi. Paparazzi are constantly suing celebrities because the celebrities are using the photos that the paparazzi took and posting it on their Instagram. Well, guess what? Even though that celebrity is the only one in that photo, it's copyright infringement.
And it's a picture of them, and likely their space was probably invaded to get it. They still have to pay to use it.
Yep. 100%.
That is cracker city. Okay, so what is the second big thing that entrepreneurs come to you and they're like, Andrea, help me?
Yeah, so that's business names, and that is trademarks. So trademarks, this identifies your branding. So when you think trademarks, you probably think, oh, my business name, I got to trademark it. Well, it's not just your business name. It's anything that identifies your brand. So brand name, your logo, your slogan, your podcast name, your course name, anything that has a unique name within your business, it can probably be protected with a trademark. And the more trademarks you have, the higher value your brand is, because brand identity is what increases your value. So you want to have as many trademarks as possible.
How much of a pain in the ass is it to get something like your name of your podcast or the name of your course trademarked?
So, I mean, if you know how to do it, it's not a big pain at all. So that's really our specialty in the firm is trademark filings. We work with hundreds of entrepreneurs protecting everything that I just listed, their brand name, their logos, their slogans. And the big thing that trips a lot of business owners up is that it takes 6 to 7 months, and it has nothing to do with an LLC. So a lot of people will file their LLC and they'll think, oh, my name's protected because, there's nobody in my state that can have the same name. Well, number one, the LLC the state only searches in the state for that name. And for the LLC, they're only looking for that exact name. But trademark infringement, it's not only when it's the same exact name. It's when there's anything similar enough that it's likely to cause confusion. So my brand name, my law firm is Andrea Sager Law. If there's an Andrea Sager Legal out there, that's trademark infringement. And if Andrea Sager is spelled differently, that's trademark infringement. So it doesn't have to be the same exact name. As long as the name is similar and the goods or services that are offered are similar, then it's probably trademark infringement. So if you're out there and you have your business name ABC, well, if there's somebody out there who has the ABC, well, somebody's infringing on somebody. I don't know who, but that's trademark infringement. If you're providing the same goods or services and you have ABC and another party has the ABC or ABCs, make it plural, that's trademark infringement.
Now, I read a case study because, so that you guys know, those of you who've privately coached with me or in my ProjectME Posse group coaching membership, you know that I keep it real and I only tell you guys what to do that'll move the needle. And then I'll also be clear, like what are nice to haves, right? This is also why I had Andrea on, because we're gonna make sure, like she tells you, like these are the must do's. And yes, as a lawyer, right, she would say you gotta, protect yourself in all ways, right? Of course. But we have to be realistic with what resources you have available to you. So I was doing some research because the personal branding space is vastly different from corporate. And I've learned a lot in 2.5 years. And I've lost a lot of money by making mistakes, even though I already was an entrepreneur for 10 years. So one case study I read, and you're probably familiar with it, was the term boss babe. Yes. So that is not tell us about that, because as far as I recall in reading that case study, it was about like 1.5 years ago I read it, that you would think boss babe, I mean, whoever fucking trademarked that should be a mega multi-millionaire. And then it turned out like now it's considered like a common phrase, so it can't be trademarked. What's that about?
Yeah. So, and this is where it gets tricky. And it can be a good or bad thing. Same thing with Girl Boss. So Girl Boss and Boss Babe, I believe they both used to have trademark registrations for their brands. But the terms caught on with everybody. And now their trademarks have been canceled because the trademark office considers them commonly used expressions. And the trademark office will not allow a trademark registration for commonly used expressions.
So you can do all the things and have all the lawyers. And once it's deemed as a common expression, right? Yep. Then you've lost that trademark, which is a significant loss.
Yes.
And
that's
income and everything.
Right. And that's where enforcement is critically important. So once we get our clients registered, we tell them, look, this is just the beginning. Like, great, we have this registration, but now it's your duty to continue to monitor and enforce, because if you lose the registration or if you even have to fight it. That's very, very expensive. And it's hard, especially once you get as big as girl boss and boss babe, it's hard to prove that it's not a commonly used expression, because at the same time, the community that they've created, that's exactly, I mean, I think, it was kind of a business plan as well, is to get as big as they did. But at the same time, it's like, well, now we don't even have a trademark on our brand name. So we can't necessarily stop others from using the name and causing confusion, because that confusion is what trademark infringement is. So what you want to avoid is having somebody come to you and say, oh, I purchased from this other person and I thought it was you, or I almost purchased from this other person, then I realized it wasn't you. Or like, hey, and I get this all the time because I represent a lot of clothing boutiques, and a lot of times they're like, this other boutique, like the customer came to me and said, hey, I purchased this order. Where is it? And it's like, I don't even have you in the system. What are you talking about? And then they find out that's not even them. It's somebody else with the same or a similar name.
So when new entrepreneurs or even established, right, you want to put together a new course or a new workbook, or self-publish a book, or come out with, like swag for your brand or something like that. But you don't know if it's going to sell. Like, you can learn all the things from me. You can have your, the cards stacked in your favor, but all this entrepreneur shit is still an experiment. So that doesn't mean, that product's going to take off. So I would, it'd sound crazy to me to go and get like, a course name or a book name or something like that you have no idea, right? You're kind of almost like beta testing. It's your first round of your group coaching, right?
Yeah.
You don't know if it's going to work. It sounds kind of crazy to spend the money getting that trademarked when you don't even know if this is going to be a win or a flop.
No, I'm right there with you. And so I get the question all the time, like, okay, I'm brand new, or I'm launching this new product. What do I do? Like, do I actually file the trademark now? And I tell them, look, if you're a new business owner, or if you're just testing the water and money is an issue, then I don't think you need to file the trademark right away. But what you need to do is the trademark search. And this is more than just searching Google. With my law firm, we require our search before filing any applications, because it costs money, it takes time, and we don't want to waste either of those. So I always suggest doing the search before moving forward with your project, because let's say you search Google and you're searching for ABC exactly, and you don't find ABC exactly for what you're doing. And you're like, oh, cool, I can use this name. But you don't really understand what trademark infringement is. So you launch your program with ABC, and you make not even $1 million. You make $50,000. And you're like, oh, this is amazing. I'm going to grow this so big. Da, da, da. And then here comes the cease and desist letter from the ABC or ABD. Not even ABC, it could be ABD. And they're like, hey, you're infringing on our trademark. You owe us your lost profit, like you owe us your profits, plus you have to rebrand. So at that point, you're like, well, this legitimately was a waste, because now you completely have to rebrand, plus all that money that you made. You're like, oh, I'm rolling in the dough now. I'm finally a business owner. You have to pay them that money. So if you at least do a proper trademark search, then you're good to go. And then once you do your beta and you really get momentum, I tell people, when you have momentum, because they're like, well, is there a dollar amount? I'm like, there's not really a dollar amount, but when you have momentum, that's when you want to file the application, because that's when you know you're in it for the long haul and you're not just testing the water.
So is this trademark search something as simple as like a URL you can give us, or do you have to go through like a law firm like yours to have that happen?
So it depends. I always suggest having an attorney, a trademark attorney, not just any attorney, but a trademark attorney do a trademark search for you, because unless you're a trademark attorney, you don't truly know what could be trademark infringement. However, I understand that even then it may be a stretch for some people. So we're coming out with this new trademark course to teach entrepreneurs exactly our own process. So taking you through the full search, which is more than just Google, more than just social media. We take you through all the steps to actually lay out possibilities of what could be similar. Because like what trips entrepreneurs up is the similarities. Like, yeah, I know you can catch the low hanging fruit of the exact same name, but that's not enough.
What stresses me out with you saying this, and it also like pisses me off, which I'm sure some of you, in fact, I know some people in particular that are my loyal, longtime listeners that are like, well, that's bullshit. It's the similarity that's bullshit, because when we're looking at like, let's just use even the online, like, fitness professionals, right? I have a lot of fitness and wellness people that listen to the show, and it's like, no one wants, you guys don't want to copy anyone. I know that. And it's like, okay, so, like if there's some big fitness brand, right? Like you're like, I'm just pulling it out of my ass, but it's like shape fitness or something like that. Right. Not to use that, but innocently, right. You're like, well, I want to use like fit to fab 6 weeks to get lean. Right. And it's like, you're telling me that if someone has like fit to fab trademarked and you just add like fit to fab, to get lean in 6 weeks, like that technically could be infringement.
Yes.
But what pisses me off is there's only so many combos you can make with words, girl. So, I mean, what the fuck?
I'm right there with you. No, I am right there with you. And that's really where you really have to get creative. And we do work with a lot of clients that have to rebrand, because we tell them like, look, we're not filing this application. So when we do our searches, we tell them, look, if it comes back high risk, then we do a second complimentary search to help you find something that can be protected, because we don't want to tell you like, hey, like if I was at a big firm, which I've been there, done that, despised it, they would say, oh, high risk, we're not going to file it, pay this additional fee and we'll do another search. That's not the people I work with. The people I work with, they're like, okay, I know I need help me. So that's what we do. We help them, if it is high risk, to rebrand and come up with a name that can actually be protected with a trademark. And at the end of the day, I'm not saying that all of you are going to get sued one day for trademark infringement. A trademark lawsuit is very expensive, and they don't happen every day, but you still want to avoid that rebrand, and you still want to avoid having to pay profits to somebody in lieu of suing you, because that's what happens. It's like, okay, you've been infringing. Now you got to rebrand and pay us this money or else we'll sue you.
Yeah. And and especially like she said, when you have momentum, I mean, when you've been in business a long time, my business coach is worth $100 million. He's like 75 now. He's hysterical, very dry. But he said to me, because he was like, I was like, oh my God, he had to go fly in one place with his private jet to one, court of law for a lawsuit, and then another in another state. And I go, what the hell? I was like, why do you have so many lawsuits? This was probably like my second year coaching with him. And he said, Tiffany, he's like, you're not making any real cash if you don't have lawsuits going on. And I was like, okay, damn. And I was like, all right. I go, I get what he's saying. He goes, because that means, think about it, $100 million, right? Many, many businesses, hotels, stores, brands, there's shit going on all the time. Because what do people look for who are really out to sue? They look for people who have money. So they're going to most likely go after a brand that's more out there, that's more popular, right? That's doing it than, some of you who have like, 4 Instagram followers, for example. So I get what you're saying. It's like, what do you recommend though for that entrepreneur who is bootstrapping it? I mean, like there is no cash to do this, and they want to make sure that they're not creating a name or a brand that is taking, someone else's name, or there's a problem. do you recommend like, hey, I mean, it's kind of a choice. You roll the dice or you pay for help. That's okay.
So it's my birthday weekend and there's an edible arrangement van in my driveway right now.
Of course there is. And who doesn't want chocolate dipped pineapple on their birthday?
So here's my dog barking his head off at the edible arrangement person coming to.
This is why the show is live, because this is real fucking life, people. And by the way, don't send me an edible fucking arrangement unless there's chocolate dipped strawberries, because I'm not in it. Like, the worst is when people send me one and that's the only thing that's not in it. It's like chocolate dipped cantaloupe, pineapple, and honeydew. And then you're not like going the extra like $5 for the strawberries. Like, I'm not having it.
Yeah, no, I'm dying to know what's in it, and I'm dying to know who delivered it, because so not so public news, but I'm going through a divorce. So I'm wondering, okay, is this my husband or is this my mother? So
let's be real. He's not sending you a fucking edible arrangement.
Hey, I don't know. He would try anything.
You know what though? If I was divorcing a lawyer, is he a lawyer too or no?
No.
If I was divorcing a lawyer, I'd send you a lot of shit.
Yeah. No, everything's been amicable so far. No, we're good. Okay, I think we're good now with this
So what I was getting at is, should they just roll the dice? When I say you really have no money, like, right. Back when I was eating like top ramen on the daily, there is no way in hell I would have paid for a lawyer, even though I might have conceptually understood how important it is. I just wouldn't have done it. So it's a dice roll, kind of, is what you're saying, right?
Right. And that's honestly the reason why I started this other company. So this other company is Legal Resources. And essentially with this other company, I want to take on LegalZoom, but specifically for the online business industry, because everybody can go to LegalZoom, but quite frankly, if you look at their website, like, it's not for online business owners. It is for your local mom and pop shop, like your plumber, your construction company, not for online business owners. And with this new company, we're aiming to provide those resources for business owners that can't afford to work with an attorney, but they know they need legal protection. So, and what I tell a lot of our customers is, look, especially when you're brand new, I don't think you need to work directly with an attorney, especially if money is an issue. But that doesn't mean you don't need legal protection. You just have to figure out how to go about it the right way. So with their new company, we have the Contract Vault, which has contract templates. And then we have the trademark course coming out, teaching you how to do the trademark process on your own. And the Contract Vault, basically because what's happened is I get these brand new business owners coming to me in my law firm for custom contracts. And they're like, hey, I'm launching my coaching business. I need this contract. I'm like, okay, great. Like, pay me. It's usually like $400 to $600 for a one-on-one coaching contract, a custom contract. And I take them through my process to create their contract. And what happens is they don't know what they need because they're brand new. So they end up using my own template anyway. So what I've done is create the vault with what I know in my experience to be best practices for these different online industries. And basically you can go in the vault, download whatever contract you need. And I tell them, look, start with this template. Once you've been in business, you'll realize what works for you and what doesn't work. And then you can graduate to a custom contract. And that way, once you have that momentum, you can work directly with an attorney and make sure you are protected in all areas. So if I've been there myself, not having an extra dime for anything, especially a lawyer. So, even if you are listening right now and you're like, I can't even afford, the trademark course or the contract vault. Well, speaking about trademarks specifically, just search as much as possible. And don't just search for the same exact name. Try to come up with any possible combination that you can think of. So again, I'll use my name, Andrea Sager Law. I would look up Andrea Sager Legal, Andrea can be spelled a million different ways. Sager, well, there's Seeger out there. I know the last name, there can be a Seeger. So I'll look up Andrea Sager, legal, law firm, any possible combination that you can think of, or the Andrea Sager firm, or Andrea Sager's law firm, any possible combination. You just have to really learn how to rack your brain to figure out, okay, what else is out there that could be similar? So what could possibly be infringement?
Because when I'm coaching, especially my like private coaching with you guys, and one of the things I'm known for, I don't know if you know this, but I have like a really weird knack. We all have like special talents. Then we have our party tricks. I do have party tricks, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
My name is Tiffany, after all.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
So one of my talents is naming things, like, and I know that's where a lot of people get stuck, right? In naming courses and a unique name for your brand, right? And products, and we'll nail something. And I'm like, we're like, this is it. This is $1 billion business, right? And then I have to tell you guys, now this is it. It sounds amazing, but we have to make sure that it's not out there. It sounds really unique and fresh, but that doesn't mean someone isn't, so to speak, like squatting on it, right? Like someone actually, or a big business like a Kraft Foods, or, something like a L'Oreal. They have tons of trademarks of products you've never even seen before, because I consult for a lot of these companies, and they actually will shelve or squat or sit on these so that someone else can't come in and do something with one of these great names and like blow it up. So then all of a sudden, right, you're getting phone calls. So I know this is like can stress you guys out, because I imagine you're like, oh my God, Tiffany, I feel like then every name is taken. But the reason I'm sharing my special talent is, listen, that'd be like, there are so many combinations, and slang is so fun now. Like you've trademarked Legalpreneur, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, there's so many fun ways that we can, use slang and even get creative. Like, I always joke about like luxuriating, like I make up words, right? You're allowed to, so I don't want you guys to be, it almost is a good thing, because it is going to force you to not be mentally lazy and be even more creative. Don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's one of our favorite things to do when a client does have a high risk trademark. That's one of our favorite things, is to brainstorm new names, because it's fun. I mean, for me, it's fun. And trying to figure out, get down to the nitty gritty of their business and figure out, okay, how, let's make this work.
The last thing I want to touch on, because I got a few questions when I pulled some of my audience that I was going to be doing an episode around this. And I heard you say that you work with a lot of clothing boutiques. So a lot of us, me included, right? We all want like a store and have swag. I don't know. It's exciting to have physical products where you like brand it, and it's like, it's my own hat. Like you like make no money off it, but that's fine. Right. So you want to do something like that, and you think it's safe because you're using, like, how you see in the Instagram ads, like most of us are suckers for, where it's like, oh, it's a cute sweatshirt and it says like mom juice, it's 5 o'clock, give me my mom juice. And they have like these cute, trendy sayings on them.
Mm-hmm.
I never see the TM or anything like that on there. So when you're using these cute, trendy sayings like that, are those trademarkable, or are they not? And that's why it's safe for a lot of these clothing companies to use them.
That is such a good question. And yes, it comes up a lot with my boutiques, because I work with a lot of t-shirt designers, and they want to trademark their t-shirt designs, but the trademark office says you cannot trademark a t-shirt design. So let's say, and what happens is somebody will have, this was a recent one. Somebody has the trademark on American AF. And so you have the trademark for American AF, and with trademarks, they're registered in relation to certain goods or services. So this one, obviously clothing, their brand is American AF. They don't really have shirts that say American AF. Well, one of my clients does have a very well-selling shirt that says American AF on it. And so the brand American AF, they're like super like gun-ho, like pro-military. It's all like military apparel. Well, then my client is very like rural, like farmers, like totally different niches. And my client got a cease and desist letter. And that it's scary, but there is recent case law that says even though it may be registered in relation to clothing, that class of goods, if it is on a t-shirt for decoration, it is not trademark infringement.
So that's why, like Spiritual Gangster, that, you know, the popular brand, a lot of us know, they have Love Wins, right?
Yep.
I mean, I have a ton of their shirts, right? Like Currently Manifesting.
Yes.
And they can get away with doing tons of those because it's on a t-shirt and it's decor.
Yes. And the technical term is ornamental. And eventually, so in the trademark office's eyes, after you've been using it for 5 years, or if you can prove some other stuff, you can get a true registration for it. But it is hard. It's easier to prove like, hey, this isn't a true trademark. So that you run a lot of risk trying to protect a design or a phrase on a t-shirt.
Right. So, like, don't get greedy with it. Like have good intentions, right? Don't be like, you know, I'm going to now put legalpreneur on a shirt. Like her ass is going to like come after you.
No. So t-shirt designs, words on a t-shirt, very hard to protect them.
And when you say t-shirt, I know I hear what all you guys are thinking on the damn treadmill. It's like, well, does that mean it applies to coffee mugs and headbands and hats, or is it just t-shirts?
Everything. If it's for decoration, then it probably cannot be protected with a trademark.
See, I've got you covered. I know how you guys think. And last thing I want to make sure we clarify for everyone is the whole thing about contracts for one-on-one coaching, group coaching. Number one, you know, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm going to tell you, I tell all my clients, yes, I want you to have them sign something, period, end of story. And is this, you have an offer of your contract vault. Is that something currently available? And if so, can you tell the people the link so that you can just go to that and literally download the template and insert your, you know, business name, blah, blah, blah. And there you go.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we have currently there's 90 plus contract templates, any like one-on-one coaching, group coaching, masterminds, basically anything in the coaching space, it is there and it is ready for you to download. And all you have to do is go to thecontractvault.com and sign up and you are good to go. You can download. And on top of the contracts, we actually have a Facebook group where I teach live every single month. So like I said, I love the education portion. And most entrepreneurs these days, they're what I call accidental entrepreneurs. So they weren't groomed for their position, but because you are an entrepreneur, you are held to the same standard as a Fortune 500 company who has that full team of the CFO, the general counsel. You're held to the same standard the moment you are in business. So you are still liable to know the law. So in the Facebook group, I go and teach all the stuff that you don't even know you don't know, but you need to know as a business owner. So I teach the law. I do Q&A sessions every single month to make sure that you're not only getting the contracts, you're getting the education portion as well.
Wow, that's very generous of you. So it's thecontractvault.com. I'll put it in the show notes. Not like anyone reads show notes, which I love when people are like, it's in the show notes. Have any of you read my fucking show notes ever? And if you have, you immediately need to DM me. Take a screenshot right now of this episode, and I want you to tag myself at ProjectME with Tiffany. What is your Instagram handle, Andrea?
At Andrea Sager Law. And I'll do you one better. So we'll add a promo code as well. Do you want to use ProjectME?
Hello. Yes.
Perfect. ProjectMe for a 20% discount off your first month. And you can cancel anytime. It is a recurring membership. You can cancel anytime. And then I will gift 3 of your audience members 1 month for free. So just tag us on Instagram and let us know your favorite part about this show.
Oh my, what? This was not planned. So I'm like,
surprise.
I get all excited about this shit. All right. So don't be an idiot. Take a screenshot right now, share it on Instagram stories, tag me at ProjectMe with Tiffany, tag Andrea at AndreaSager Law. Now, if you're multitasking or you don't have the brain capacity to remember another Instagram handle, just tag me at ProjectMe with Tiffany, and you'll have to trust me that I will then repost it and I'll tag Andrea, because I want 3 of you to get this for free. Plus, you can get a 20% discount using the code ProjectMe at the contract vault. Like,
heck yeah.
Done. That's so freaking generous of you. Thank you so much. Now, there is even more free shit that's available to you. The first thing I want to remind you of, because we're talking about all this fun copyright stuff and you guys are still having a rash over all these free pictures that you've used for content. Now, what are you going to do with the content monster? Remember, I have 90 done for you social media graphics that are pre-sized for every platform: Pinterest, Instagram stories, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, you name it. And that's at projectmewithtiffany.com/free graphics. projectmewithtiffany.com/free graphics. And those are for you to use free and clear. You do not have to tag me. You don't have to credit me. I'm doing it for full service. And some of them do have like my name on them because they're a Tiffany Carter quote, and you still don't have to fucking tag me. So you heard it here. So you have stuff that you can use that's completely safe. So I want to like calm you down. And then Andrea, you have some free live trainings coming up. Is that right?
Yes. To learn all things trademarks. So we're having a free trademark training on October 21st and 22nd. There's 3 different sessions to choose from. All you have to do is go to thetrademarkcourse.com and sign up, and you are good to go. And completely free training. Like I said, I love to educate. And so we're doing this free training to help entrepreneurs learn more about trademarks.
And you can also go to her Instagram at Andrea Sager Law. And I'm guessing, I'm totally assuming, but the links in her bio, she's like,
link in bio.
And my guess is, and I could be wrong, but I'm assuming you've at least trademarked or registered the contract vault and the trademark course.
So we have not, because
okay.
And this is a good question because it's very strategic. So those terms are descriptive and possibly generic. So the trademark office denies descriptive trademarks, and you can get kind of some supplemental protection. But if they're considered generic, they don't get any protection. So I've been strategic about whether we want to protect those, which legalpreneur is protected, and that's really what I wanted protected. So the contract vault and the trademark course are not currently protected, but we have our branding very much in line. So if you do have something descriptive, possibly borderline generic like that, protect your logo, because that will also help you get better protection than just doing the words themselves.
Boom. And this is why I have amazing guests on. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your free knowledge. I mean, this was thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars worth of legal knowledge. So I hope you guys appreciated it. Take those screenshots, tag us, share in Instagram stories. 3 of you are going to win a month's access to the contract vault, which has 90 contracts designed specifically for online entrepreneurs like yourselves. And then for those of you who just are like, I want it now, I don't want to wait to find out if I've won, you can go to thecontractvault.com and use code ProjectMe to get 20% off. Is that all uppercase, lowercase, or it doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter.
Even better. Doesn't matter. So ProjectMe, all one word. and get in there. Now you have those templates. You don't even have to like go to Google Land and wonder if this is a good one or ask me if it's a good one. Now you're already getting them all done for you. Thank you so much for your time. Have an amazing birthday weekend. And you've got to let us all know, did you get chocolate dipped strawberries in that damn edible arrangements, and who was it from? Because we need to know.
I will let you know. I will definitely let you know.
All right. Bye, girl.
Have a good weekend.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please write a 5-star review on iTunes. Not only will this make me super happy, but it will allow more listeners to find our special show. Simply help me help others.